Hey, we've got a guest, everyone. We've got a guest. Ricardo Pasquel. Ricardo, welcome to Footy Prime. How you doing?
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're more than welcome. So let me tell you, so Ricardo is the new owner of York United FC. He's president, he's GM, he does it all there. He, during the conversations and negotiations to purchase York United, somehow stumbled upon our podcast about a year ago, right, Ricardo? And he's been listening ever since. Did it come
We're
close
sorry.
to
Wait a second.
off?
We're sorry, Ricardo.
Yeah, I know. We're going to establish what Canadian soccer culture is, right? And then you listen to us. Did it almost scare you off?
No, just the first time that I heard you guys, even the introduction that you have going on, I love it. It's all about informality, just like a couple of guys like just talking all around, cursing, whatever. Like, I love it.
Ricardo.
Yeah, we love the old cursing. We're big fans of it. Hey, listen, we're talking about actually North American football. We had Hercules Gomez on the show last week and talking about Mexico and the future of Mexican football within the context of North America. Is there one day a situation where they merge MLS and Liga MX? What are your thoughts on that? Is that something that the Mexican people would be open to?
I think they're trying, not just open, they're trying. I don't know if, like for MLS, besides maybe a couple of teams, maybe I don't know, America, Chivas, Cruz Azul, Monterrey, and maybe a couple more. Like for the MLS, I don't think it's convenient. For the Mexican market, it is very convenient. I don't know if that will happen. Obviously, they are trying with this. What's the name of the tournament called that just started? That MLS against Mexican teams. The
Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup. Exactly.
Thank you, Ricardo, because I don't know it either.
Like if you take a look at the Leagues Cup, sometimes when some Mexican clubs play, you have like besides the big ones, you have like 400 or 500 people in the stands. So like besides maybe again 4 or 5 teams, I don't think it's convenient from the MLS. I don't think they're going to allow it. But for sure, I can tell you some of the Mexican clubs are trying.
You as an owner in the Canadian Premier League, if you were to see MLS and Liga MX join together, do you think that would affect the CPL?
Great question. And no, I don't think so. Like the CPL has their own challenges right now, right? Again, it's a league that we want to establish the league first. We want to grow the league. I think the CPL is doing a great job. The expansion plan that they have. So I think we have to concentrate first on this, and then what happens with the MLS and Mexican clubs.
What was it, Ricardo, that really attracted you to the Canadian Premier League market?
A bunch of things, Craig. And I'm going to answer your question by starting with another question thrown at you guys, okay? One of the podcasts.
That's not how this works.
One of the podcasts that you guys had back in December. You had I don't know, maybe it was August or I don't know, and you had, I think it was 2 and 3 shows. You had this survey that more or less, I don't remember the exact question, but it was like, is Canada a soccer nation, something like that. And the answers that you guys got was, again, more or less, I remember exactly, but it was like 38-39% yes, 50% no, and like 10-11% didn't answer, whatever. Like, Craig, what do you think the answers to that would have been 5, 8, 10 years ago? Like the percentage of the people answering, that'd be, I don't know. You mean 5%? Yes, 8%, 10% in most. So I think the game is growing a lot. I was talking to James the other day, and this is a perspective from somebody outside of Canada. We see how the game has evolved here with just a league that has been with a full calendar only for 3 years. I mean, it's amazing what you guys have done. I think it's a matter of now getting everybody on the same boat and rowing the same direction. Again, maybe it's a matter of time, but I'm sure that will happen someday.
Fingers crossed, yeah. We're getting there, but it's a battle, right? You know that. What are your thoughts on the Canadian soccer culture so far? Obviously, you saw it from a distance. Now you're living here. CPL hasn't kicked off yet. It's all going to change, obviously, in a month or so. We understand that. But your initial observations from what you're seeing from an outsider?
I mean, what I've been very, very surprised, and I knew this all along, but I didn't have a chance to see it, is the participation rate for kids. Like everybody I spoke to, like a parent, has their kids in some kind of school or academy or at other local schools. Like the participation rate for kids is it's amazing. Like I'll say every block, but you just see kids playing soccer all around. And like I knew I had some stats of how the participation rate for soccer was growing in Canada, but like getting to see it now, it's amazing.
Now you've moved your family here, right? So you're obviously committed here. We understand that. But you could probably have invested in numerous leagues, numerous teams. Why did you choose Canada? Was there one particular reason?
Just the potential it has. And again, I'm talking here like an outsider, like a fan, a guy from Mexico that has been watching how Canada has been growing, and more than anything, obviously for past seasons, the national team, right? That's a comparison that we got. When we played Canada, like at the Estadio Azteca, or even at the qualifiers for Qatar, I think we played Canada at Edmonton. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mhm.
The ice.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Mexican player said it was so cold when they were breathing out, their souls were leaving their bodies.
I know. But besides the cold, like if you watch the game again, and I haven't watched it honestly, but when I watched it live, like Mexico didn't touch the ball. Like it was amazing. The like me from an outsider was like, how can this country? To be honest, I didn't knew back in 2021 or 2020 when the game was played that the CPL existed, right? I didn't know. It's only one full year of calendar, so I didn't know. And we're like, how can this team that doesn't even have a league, like play like this? Like it's amazing. How do they do it? I mean, I knew some of the players. I knew Staukio, obviously David, and among others, also David, etc. But we're like, how can they do it? How can this a national team that doesn't have a league play like this? How can they have this quality of players? So, like from an outsider, just being a fan of the game, it's amazing how Canada has grown in recent years in soccer. And like it didn't take much convenience with our partners, to be honest, when this whole idea started maybe a year ago. Again, our partners either have been involved directly or indirectly in the game, like sponsoring and other ways. And when we talked about this idea, they were like, yeah, I mean, we hadn't to do any convincing from our end. It was just a matter to getting to the right details and to the right conversations with the league. Yeah.
Often, Ricardo, we were talking, and I found it interesting because often when foreign ownership comes into a new league, a fledgling league, you see the imprint of where they're from on that team, on that club. But you're making it pretty clear, though, that with York United, fast forward 5 years, you won't see a definite Mexican footprint on this team. It's going to be very much Canada, a Canadian footprint.
100%. I mean, obviously, right now we had a short off season, right? We were announced, I think it was the second week of December as new owners, where most teams already had maybe a couple of months of preparing for next season, or even more, because you just don't prepare for the next season when the season ends. You start way before that. So we had a very brief off season, and having said that, I think we do have a very competitive roster right now. Yes, we did bring 3 Mexican players, which are very quality players, and we knocked door on most of Mexico's first division team. We went with America, we went with Pachuca, Tijuana, Cruz Azul. Like we went with 5 or 6 of them, and we explored every opportunity we have. And yeah, we brought 3 guys over here. But in the long run, and as you say, James, hopefully we have a full Canadian roster in like 3 to 5 years down the road. That's how we truly believe in the talent that is here. Obviously, it takes a matter of time. You guys know better than I do the preparation that every teenager needs to have in order to be a professional player down the road. But yeah, that's something that we're aiming for.
Ricardo, I love your optimism. You can just sort of hear how hopeful you are in the way that you're talking, and I really appreciate that. I think it's desperately needed. And in fact, when you were announced as owners with your brothers, you talked about the men's team. You foresee them being top 10 in the world. So you talked about, soccer being, that the highest registration in Canada, tons of kids play. What do you think is is needed in Canada in order to create a pathway of development where that's going to happen, and not on a dime, but where that is a realistic possibility for our men's team to be ranked top 10 in the world?
Like that's a great question, and I think has a bunch of answers, and we can go through these like all day. But a couple of things that stand out is, and again, I'm going to give you some comparisons to Mexico. In Mexico, we have almost 9,500 professional soccer players registered last year with FIFA. I think it was the number one country in the world, and the number second was Brazil, or something like that. Canada is amongst like 600 or 700 professional players. So it's like a 12-to-1 ratio, 13-to-1 ratio, something like that. And right now, if Canada plays Mexico on a neutral field, I don't know who's going to be favored. Like, it's going to be really, really close, right? So again, like if everybody gets on the same boat and start rowing the same direction, and we get more professional soccer players and better coaching, and like everybody working on, again, in the same direction, and we have more professional players and we have more coaching, like I think I really truly believe the sky is the limit. Obviously, Canada is a very culture-wise diversified country, right? You have the Italian community, Spanish community, the Latin community, etc., and obviously Canadians, among many more. So I think I truly believe the quality is here. It's just a matter of time of identifying these quality young players, develop them, and then what they can become down the road. That's what I truly believe. It's amazing what Canada can become in not too many years.
I got a quick question about the company Gameplan Sports Group, led by you and your brothers. In time, is it about you guys building a portfolio, maybe getting more clubs elsewhere around the world, or are you just focusing solely on one club here in Canada?
Well, I can tell you, the first few years is solely about everything's about York United and what we can do moving forward, and hopefully in the future we can start diversifying. But in the next couple of years, it's all about York United.
How do you find the dealing with the salary cap and working around that, the rules of CPL? How do you find that? Has anything surprised you, or you pretty much knew what you're getting into when you came in?
Well, as a not as a soccer fan only, correct, but as a sports fan, I'm a huge NFL fan. I'm a huge MLB fan, NBA, among other sports. So I pretty much knew like all the concept regarding a salary cap, right? When we started the research again, maybe a year ago, we knew the exact amount of the salary cap that was going to be for the 2024 season, and we started preparing to that. Obviously, I didn't know the exact amount as for our team. Just when we were announced back in December, when we sat down with the coaching staff, Nashi told me, hey, this is our current salary cap, and this is what we have moving forward. And we didn't have much room to maneuver, to be honest. But as a surprise, no, it wasn't a surprise by any means. It was just like now getting to the actual roster and what it's going to look like and what the players' contracts moving forward, and start looking closely at them. But other than that, no, I think I'm a fan of the salary cap. I think it makes the league competitive. The GMs play a huge role in this. The sporting director and the coach play a huge role in this, and it shouldn't be just about throwing money, right? I probably think in the future, maybe in Europe, a salary cap is going to be applied, because it's just outrageous the amount of money teams are throwing out right now. I don't think that's suitable for the next few years. But I approve, and I'm a fan of the salary cap.
Yeah, they're trying with financial fair play in Europe. I'm not sure how well it's working at the moment. There's always a way around the system, isn't there? Yeah. Ricardo, listen, thanks so much. Really appreciate this. The season's around the corner. I believe next Thursday actually is York United's kit launch, which we're going to try and get to. We'll
correct. You have an invitation, an open invitation, guys. Hopefully you'll be there.
Is there food?
Food, drinks, everything.
All right, we'll be there.
That's Wonger's favorite.
And tequila.
I'm bringing Tupperware. I'm bringing containers to bring home.
You know what? I tequila. You mentioned it, Jimmy. I've actually become not a connoisseur by any stretch, but the old days of just shooting tequila are well behind me. Sipping tequila, good tequila, unbelievable. It's so nice. So
I remember. You're right, Charms. I remember the last time I went down to Mexico. This was years ago. I'm sitting at a table and we're all having a little bite to eat, and the guy brings over a nice bottle of tequila. So he pours everybody a little glass. Me, I had no idea. I'd down this thing and make the biggest face you've ever seen in your life. And they're all looking at me like the Mexicans are looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? This is a beautiful tequila. You sip this. I was like, what? I was the only one that downed it. I looked like the biggest loser.
Canadian Philistine, for God's sakes. It's terrible.
And James, that exactly what you said. That's what when you are getting up to age, and so am I. Like at the beginning, just at the, it's just very true. At the beginning, tequila, it was a shot of tequila. You did your face, have a lime and whatever, and you throw the lime over. And right off the side, I just sip it. It's like, yeah, it's
we're maturing, right? We're maturing as people and as alcoholics. It's good. Ricardo, listen, thank you so much for this. We'll see you next week, and we'll have to get you on at some point throughout the season as well. It'd be great.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome to Canada.
Thanks,
Welcome
Ricardo.
to Canada.
Ricardo.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thanks
Ricardo.
for listening to us too. I can't
I
believe
know.
it.
Thank you, guys.
That's Ricardo Pasquel, GM, president, owner of York United